Pranjal Sharma, of course, on what has stood out for you today. In the morning sessions, of course, in the first half. Of course, the evening sessions are carrying on as we speak. Interestingly, Tulsi Gabbard talking about the strong economic partnership of India and US, despite the tariff word that we keep hearing, of course, from the United States President. Where do you see economic ties, trade ties, business ties, people-to-people ties going between India and the world players that we've seen today on the stage?
I think what is very clear is that India is now an economy to look at. There is a very clear focus that while we still, I think, are working to strengthen our capacity and capability, and you can see in the last decade, the current government has invested in capacity and capability. So which means whether it's manufacturing capacity or our talent capability, both are being invested in. And it's a journey which is on a very strong path right now. But there's a lot of work to be done. Having said that, look at the situation in other parts of the world. You see 3 or 4 of the top European countries, they have 3 government changes in 3 years. The governments are falling. That used to happen in the 90s in India. We had 4 governments in 3 years, and we always had coalition governments which were always fragile. You see the same status in Europe today. I think the 3 things which stood out for me today in the conversations, one, I think that Foreign Minister Jaishankar, he said very categorically that we want a stronger UN, but we want a fair UN. I think that was very important to say. There's a narrative which is being built that India is trying to disrupt and break the global order. No, what India is saying is that we want to improve the global order, make it better, so re-globalize in some way. The Director of National Intelligence of US, Tulsi Gabbard, she said also very interestingly that standing for peace doesn't mean standing for isolationism. She also made the point that America first does not mean that America is alone. So there are a lot of interesting narratives.
And equated it with India first as well.
And she equated it with India first. But look at where the world is today. And I think one of the speakers said very articulately that a crisis in Europe, 2 warring countries, is being resolved by a country in the Middle East. It used to be the other way around, that all the crises in the global south would have matchmakers and people who are playing the peace card would come from Europe to get them together. Look at the way the world has flipped. The crisis zones are in the what I call the legacy economies, and the stability is there in the growth economies.
Okay, let me take that to you now, Dikshu Kukreja, again on